Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. I assume the stream is working. Okay. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. This is Hang with Mangg, all that good stuff. Another week gone by. This has been, I would say, the slowest feeling week in quite a while. Where it just was like, it feels like an eternity since the last Hanging with Mangg.
To the provinces.
We're playing a little bit of Total War 3. Total War Warhammer 3, I think, is the actual title, but... And, yeah, it's been a rough one. Principally due to computer troubles. I had computer troubles like most of the week. Not my work computer, like the computer I actually use to edit Exploring series and record it and stuff, thankfully. If something ever happens to that, then I'm really fucked. Because I have it just set up like exactly as it needs to be set up, you know? Especially the recording aspect of it. You know, I had a fan a while back, like really helped me set it all up with like plugins and all these settings exactly where they need to be for my voice and microphone. And it's all just exactly set up as it needs to be, and I don't ever want it to change because I don't want to have to do anything with it. But no, this has just been on my like gaming computer, the main one I use for gaming and let's plays and things like that.
It is time.
And it started the other day, and I don't even remember exactly what started it. It was like blue screening or something, or it's just, yeah, it must have been blue screening. I don't know. I'm trying to remember now if it was just crashing to desktop or if it was actually like, I know I left it on overnight after it started having issues, and then when I woke up the next day, it had restarted on its own. And that was what was like, okay, I got to do something about this. Something's wrong. And so I
Step to it.
I reformatted my computer.
Yes, a sound plan.
Which is just something, I don't know, growing up, it was always just like a very regular process for like my personal computer. I would always just reformat, you know, wipe the whole drive, start from fresh, you know, and it was like a cathartic, just cleansing process for the computer, I felt. And I always felt nice and fresh every time I did it. There was a period of time where I would do it literally like every month. Because, you know, during that age, teenager, it was just like, whatever. It was never a big deal to just wipe everything. But now I really don't tend to reformat too often unless like there's a problem or, you know, something like that. But I was like, all right, I've got some issues here. I haven't reformatted this computer since I got it.
It is war.
So I'm gonna go ahead and reformat, reinstall Windows, wipe the drive, all that good stuff, and that's what I did. And that's when the problems really started.
Yes, my lord.
High Elven Archmage.
To the provinces?
That's when the problems really started, because
The Empire.
no, I'm trying to get this out. As soon as I reinstalled Windows, Windows Update now like will automatically install like video drivers for you. So, you know, I have an NVIDIA card, so it automatically installed NVIDIA drivers for me, and it was like, okay, that's nice, I guess, but they're not the most current. For whatever reason, they're not the most recent drivers you get. So I was like, all right, well, I may as well, you know, just get the most current drivers. Usually can't go wrong. And so I go and I went to NVIDIA's site to just download the drivers directly rather than just downloading GeForce Experience and doing it that way. So I downloaded, you know, latest drivers directly. And when I tried to install them, you know, update the current drivers to that, it failed. And I had, like, never really seen this happen before. It just, like, started and then just said, nope, complete failure across the board. It's like, well, that's weird, because, you know, there shouldn't be any issue. It already installed NVIDIA drivers from Windows Update. I don't see why these would be worse, but okay. So then I tried going through GeForce Experience and doing it that way, just for whatever's sake, and that didn't work either. So that's when I started to get a little mystified. I think I eventually did get drivers updated by booting into safe mode, running, you know, display driver uninstall or whatever to completely wipe it, and then installing the drivers in safe mode. But then, I thought, like, okay, that's weird, but,
What?
you know, the drivers are installed, so whatever.
Let us move.
But then, you know, as I started setting things up, installing some games and blah, 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 then the problems really reared their head.
Ready.
And basically my games would just start to, like, they would either fail to load at all. And it was only specific games. That was the annoying thing. Like, Total War, I played it for, like, 2 hours. You know, straight with no issues whatsoever, with mods and all that. But then, like, Final Fantasy 14 would just blue screen my computer. And then eventually, I think I did get, well, after an amount of time, I swapped out my graphics card for another graphics card that I know works just fine, and tried that, and Final Fantasy 14 then worked, but then when I tried to load Overwatch, it would just fail to load. Like, the game would just not, it would crash the desktop every single time. It would not even load. And then I think eventually I tried to update or swap out the drivers for that, and I still got hit with the failure.
Allegiance is the lifeblood of martial alliance. Fostering allegiance will pay dividends should the need for close cooperation arise.
So basically, I ruled out the fact that it was the graphics card.
What does the Emperor bid? We march!
This is actually a really, really brutal start. Holy shit. This is insane.
To the provinces.
Clearly, I played this all wrong. So I ruled out the fact it was the graphics card. And I was really, like, I was kind of at a loss, to be honest. Like, I was Googling things nonstop, and the thing is, like, if you Google a problem with, like, a game, you're going to get a lot of responses that are, like, specifically for that game, you know? And that doesn't necessarily solve, like, a larger problem with your computer, because people are just trying to fix that one game. And if you have a problem with, like, a severe software issue or a severe hardware issue, something like that, you're going to have more problems than just that one game. So Googling just a problem with one game is not going to fix anything. Not really. I mean, generally not when it comes to that. And it's really annoying if it is a hardware issue, because those are just often very annoying to track down and pinpoint. So throughout all this process, you know, I reformatted like 3 times using like separate installation media for Windows to see if that was maybe a culprit. I ruled out pretty clearly that it's the graphics card, because I'm using the original graphics card that I had in this other computer now. So I know it's not the graphics card. I can't really fathom that it is a software issue.
Sigma's will.
Because what sort of software issue could just persist across multiple reformats with different graphics card? So, you know, some people suggested possibly a power supply issue, but I really just can't fathom, one, why a power supply issue would affect video drivers installation. It just seems absurd. I don't know. And like, I ran a stress test for a while. I feel like if there was some issue with power supply or something, it would come up during a stress test, not during booting a game. But I don't know. I ran a memory test, you know, for like an hour. That showed no problems, so I don't think that's the case. And I just feel like I don't it's so frustrating to me, because I feel like there should be like other problems that are popping up. You know, I should see like video artifacting, or, you know, some other errors or crashes or other blue screens when I don't know. So I really don't know if it is a hardware issue, but I also don't think that it's a software issue. So I don't know what kind of issue it is.
But there are foreign powers who may be sympathetic to your cause. Being a pact of non-aggression with a foreign leader will do much to build trust between you.
I mean, generally, it's not ever the motherboard being the problem. I mean, it's pretty uncommon for the motherboard to be the issue. But since I ruled out the video card, I ruled out, well, not really, but I sort of ruled out memory. I sort of ruled out the power supply. My only thought then is ruling out the motherboard by buying a replacement and swapping it out. So of course I ordered that next day air, and that was on Friday, and I still don't have it. So thank God for paying extra for next day air. I mean, it's not that drastic of a problem. Like I said, it's not my work computer, and pretty much everything I care about is on like external drives and stuff like that, and I have another computer here that I can play games on, so it's not really drastic. It's just frustrating to me, mostly because I couldn't solve it, and I hate not being able to solve things like that.
I will marshal the band.
But, you know, thank you for listening to my rant.
To war!
So, as a transition then, due to all that bullshit,
What does the Emperor bid?
I really did not record almost anything this week
Now,
as far as Let's Plays, either just due to the computer issues or due to just not feeling up to it when I did have a working computer sitting here.
to the provinces.
So, what that means is, obviously we still have plenty of Fire Emblem to go. That's all recorded and just sitting on the drive. Welcome to Mangg's TED Talk. Yeah, except you don't learn anything from this TED Talk. It's very unsatisfying,
I will marshal
leading nowhere TED Talk. It's just fucking frustrating. You know, I'm not a computer scientist. I very deliberately did not go into that field. You know, when I was heading into college and stuff like that, I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with computers. I love gaming, and I love gaming on computers. But, man, I do not like troubleshooting and all that bullshit. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a computer scientist. I don't know that much. I know how to Google generally, and that's about it. I'm not a programmer, so, you know, there's just so much about stuff like this I just don't know how to do. It's like if in a comparison to cars, like, I'm not a mechanic, but I could, you know, change my oil or change a tire or, you know, something like that. Maybe diagnose a simple issue. I mean, this is an analogy. I don't know jack shit about cars, but that's sort of the comparison. When I worked at a computer store, I worked strictly in the sales department, which is funny because I hate people and I hate selling things. But most of the time, you know, it was a small shop. We didn't really get that many customers that actually needed, like, assistance. So mostly it was just, like, checking people out, and a lot of time actually was just, like, setting up laptops for people. So they would order a laptop, and then we would set it up for them to, like, putting in the activation key and, like, I don't know how they set up, how they got about to this procedure, but, like, we would use Ninite and give them, like, a basic suite of programs. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, if I buy a laptop, I want it to be new in box and untouched. I don't want someone else to have cracked it. Like, we got to actually, like, unbox the laptop, which was, you know, I like unboxing stuff, so it was a nice price. Like, you just sat there and you just, like, installed shit. It wasn't too bad. But anyways, they eventually offered me a position in the tech support. I forgot exactly what they called it, but it was like the tech support section of the store where people would bring in their computers with issues. And then they fixed it, and I was just like, fuck no. You know, I didn't say that, but I politely declined, and they were surprised because the sales section was really just for, like, the brain dead idiots that came in that needed a job. I worked with a guy, really funny, just like big ass black dude. Really funny guy, and he did not know anything about computers. I don't know why he wanted to work there. But yeah, he was with me in the sales department. And I don't think he ever got offered a position in the tech support. But yeah, mostly like if you were actually interested in computers at all, you wanted a job in the tech support section because you actually got to like, you didn't have to check people out. You didn't have to, you know, try and sell computers to people or any of that. You didn't have to set up basic stuff. You were actually like troubleshooting and fixing stuff, and you got to, you know, look through everybody's computer files, of course. But no, I hate it. It's just so obnoxious to me. So in spirit, I think I probably am more of like a console gamer, of just like, I want to sit down and play my shit and not tinker with much. But PC just offers a little bit more that I just, you know, the graphically, performance-wise, frame rate, modding support, flexibility, all that sort of stuff. I have to deal with it. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know. Right now, you know, that computer's just sitting there. But like I said, the thing is, like, most of my like a big chunk of my that was weird. A big chunk of my spending money goes towards computers and stuff like that, because that's really the only thing I care about in this life. So that computer that's now sitting over there is not that much better than the one I'm using currently, especially with that I put in the other graphics card into this one. So it's not, if that one never gets working, it's whatever. But I did order a new motherboard that we can try. Anyway, so yeah, more Fire Emblem is on the way. We're actually done with Wrath of the Righteous, the Demon Core playthrough. I don't have any more Pathfinder videos recorded.
To the provinces.
But what I do have is
War calls.
Rogue Trader. Fuck, I can't even win this battle. Shit. That's not good. Rogue Trader, which is going to go live, or the embargo lifts on the 6th, I think. I believe. I don't have as many videos for that recorded as I would like, but I have some. But we have this little bit of a gap. I could just upload Fire Emblem every day until that happens. But I do have some Total War videos that I recorded that I could just throw out there. The thing with Total War that I'm finding every time I try and record it is generally my idea, my hope is that I'll start a campaign of Immortal Empires and we'll make a bunch of videos until I have finished that playthrough of Immortal Empires. And that finish being either I actually win, which is pretty unlikely, or I get utterly decimated and lose, which is somewhat more likely. But actually what happens every time is that I get into a position where I end a video and it's not really like a comfortable position. It's not like a pleasant position of the game. It's kind of shitty, but I'm not actually like crushed yet. And then, so then I start the next video and I'm like, let's just start over and start fresh. And this time we're really going to do it. And then that just continues on and on and on. So what I have are a bunch of Total War videos that go nowhere. But I think I should upload them just so I can actually, like, explain the game and we can just have, like, an ongoing series. I don't know what the fuck to do here, man. This is such a rough start. So we'll just maybe upload a few Total War videos, and then once Rogue Trader goes live, we'll switch over to that for a good while. Best games of all time is really hit a hiatus here. Part of that is, again, just due to all the computer issues and not wanting to record anything this week. And part of that is due to the next game being Devil May Cry. And I feel bad because I don't want to play it. And I feel like that will affect my opinion of it, trying to judge it as one of the best games of all time. But really, there's no way that the first Devil May Cry is one of the best games of all time. There's no way! I refuse to believe it. Spoiler, it's not. Yeah, there's no way. The first Devil May Cry game, one of the best of all time? TMC remake is better than the first game. Yeah, let's look, because I always like doing this. The best Devil May Cry game. Let's see. This is from the Devil May Cry subreddit 2 years ago. Number 1, this person put 3 and 5, tied for first. Number 2, so technically 3, I guess. They put 1. Oh. This person put... I don't know how... Don't do arrows. How can I rank arrows? Okay, this person, worst to best. They put the first game as the 3rd worst. So 3 games ahead of it. This person put it as the 3rd best. This person put it as the 2nd worst. 3rd best. Keeping in mind there's like 6 games, I guess. So it sounds like sort of middle of the pack. Yeah, middle of the pack, maybe trending towards back end of the pack. Doesn't seem like most people actually rank it as like the worst. Which is sort of surprising, I guess. I don't know. I mean, part of it is that I just don't like the genre. And I know that for a fact. But yeah, we'll try it. We will definitely have to give it a shot. And it's on PS2. It just doesn't look good. Devil May Cry. Anyways, so that'll happen. Two Brothers Play. We've been doing some Total War. Last night we actually, very surprisingly, got our first raid from some other stream. And so we got a handful of new viewers in the stream last night. pretty sure they must have come from a Total War stream. Seems like the most likely, because otherwise it seems strange that a bunch of these people were really knowledgeable about Total War. But it's tank controls and fixed camera. Oh my god. I'm gonna hate it. That sounds awful. But yeah, so that was really cool. Having some new faces in there to chat with. But I think on Wednesday we might be moving on to Stellaris co-op, which could be some fun. The only concern I have with Stellaris, I think it's a great game. I think it's really fun. I think it is good co-op, because I have played it with some other people. But it is a lot to take in. There's a lot going on, and LEGO may have issues with that.
We march!
We shall see how it goes. Otherwise, he expressed interest to trying RimWorld multiplayer, which we haven't really fucked with in a while. Every time we do RimWorld, we just play separately. But we were talking about it, and we actually found a mod that lets you make the map size for, like, your colony as big as you want. Like, you make it up to, like, 10 times bigger than normal. And so we thought it would be really cool to play multiplayer and just share, like, one giant map spot, so that we're on the same map. We don't have to travel to one another. But we have our own resources, our own little mini colonies, or our own colonies nearby. We can send directly colonists to help in battle or things like that. Especially now, there's the Vanilla Expanded put out their whole vehicle mod, so you can actually get cars and trucks and tanks and stuff. And we could build, like, roads between one another. Could be really cool.
Yes?
Yeah, I don't know what to do here. I'm lost. So, we'll see. Over on the Exploring series, I released a video about corn? Was it that? Was it? That feels so long ago. Holy shit. That must be it, because I know this week I worked on 7819 for SCP, which is no vacancy, and unfortunately, the Volgan just released a video on the same SCP, so it really makes me look like I just copied him. But this was decided before I obviously knew he was releasing that, and it's you know, a really good SCP by Rounder House, so it's not surprising that we both cover it, especially because it's not like 2 hours long. So it's really not a surprise, but it's just a bummer that it's like people that watch both our channels are not going to get anything new. So then next week, we'll be back to 40K, but, you know, I'm trying to prepare something for January. I don't know what form this is going to take, but I will say I have an announcement. Not really, like a hanging with Mangg announcement, I guess. Not an official one.
My lord, a rival power desires a change.
But I have actually been working this week a decent amount on a new video for Final Fantasy XIV. He announced he wasn't doing a video this week due to illness. I now suspect I was involved in poisoning him. Maybe I wouldn't really gain that much from poisoning him, but that's interesting to know that he also works week to week, like I do. Like he has nothing in advance. So if he's sick for a week, there's no video. He seemed like the kind of guy that would actually work ahead and have like a couple videos ahead of schedule, just in case there's a situation like that. Whenever I talked to him, he was always very like, I want to say anal, I guess, but just like I don't, what's the term I want to use? Like he cared a lot about the YouTube channel and it doing well and being on top of it, with like marketing and you know, all that sort of stuff, so that it could be as successful as possible. Whereas I don't really care. I just make videos. So we didn't really see eye to eye on that sense. But yeah, it's interesting. It works week to week. I always wish that I could just work ahead and have things in the tank in case I didn't want to work one week, but that's never happened over many years. But anyways, so yeah, I've started playing Final Fantasy XIV with some friends, actually, a group of 4 of us. And so, you know, I looked at my Story of a Realm Reborn video. That video has 1.6 million views now. And in fact, I believe if you go on YouTube and you type in FF14 story, my video is the first result, which is really quite nuts. Just because, again, I think back to how that started when I was just playing through Shadowbringers and being like, you know, someone should make a video really just going through the whole story in a big summary. It should be me. And so it was. And so it is. But, you know, if you go on that video and look at the comments, there's just comment after comment. I mean, a lot of people are praising it for being really good. But then a lot of comments being like, please, you know, continue, keep going. There's so much more to the game. And on the one hand, I think I covered the lamest part of Final Fantasy XIV. Where if you wanted to experience the whole story and you were going to skip one big chunk of it, A Realm Reborn is the one to skip. But that being said, it is the lamest part of the story. So if you have no interest in playing Final Fantasy XIV, you have only scratched the surface by just watching that video. And there's a lot better story to come. And then right in the middle of that discussion, I think the patch quests, which is what I'm working on now, are also kind of lame, but also, like, important for the story to come. Like, they set up a lot of stuff for, like, future expansions and the development of the plot. So I felt like, okay, it's a really popular video. People clamoring for more. 1.6 million views is not my most or anything like that, but it's up there. It's really stupid of me to not continue this. Especially because I had already almost recorded all the footage for the patch quests. I had one video left, basically, to record. So I sat down, I recorded it, I have all the footage now, and that includes all the Crystal Tower stuff, which technically is not part of the patch quest. It's a separate story that you don't need to do until Shadowbringers came out, and then it became mandatory. So I recorded all the Crystal Tower stuff. It's not going to be a part of the patch quest video, but that'll probably be like a separate, like, 45-minute video or something. And now I've begun writing the script, and I have like 30-some minutes written. It's a lot for a non-SCP video. It is, yeah. I have some other big non-SCP videos up there. The Blair Witch mythology, some of the Cthulhu Mythos stuff, Morgoth for Lord of the Rings, creating a Space Marine is up there. I think actually... Let me just look real quick. Yeah, okay. My overview of the Primarchs video from earlier this year is at 500,000. So it's on its way. It's definitely one of my bigger 40K videos, but yeah, creating a Space Marine is the most popular of those. Although my introduction to timeline video is at 700K. So that's pretty great. But yeah, creating a Space Marine is at 2.2 million. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know why that specifically is the most appealing to just, I don't know. It's always just a fucking big mystery to me of like what people will click on and what they won't click on. I try not to worry about it too much. That's part of why I just like whatever. I just make videos and hope people click on it. I try not to think about it too much. An over like the overview of Imperial Worlds. I thought was a really cool video. I really enjoyed working on it. That hasn't cracked 100K yet. It's about to. Armaments of the Orcs. That was a really it's such a fun stuff. I don't know. I mean, 40K has been doing all right, but I also was like, you know what? Maybe I should just abandon it. Maybe I should just be making only. Maybe I should just declare myself an SCP channel and be done with it. But then, I looked at this Final Fantasy video and it's like, if I declare myself an SCP channel, and that's all I do, I'm going to be less likely to do these weird projects that are way outside of SCP. But I feel like I have something to offer outside of SCP, so that's what I want to keep doing. So yeah, anyways. So, it's like I've written 30 some minutes for the patch quest video, which I'm currently calling in my script, A Realm Awoken, which I think was the name of one of the patches or one of the quests, one of the two. It's a working title maybe. And as I'm going through it, I'm a little concerned that I'm overwriting. Like I'm what would be, I'm being too verbose. I'm not summarizing enough, because based on my progression through the patch quest, mission by mission, it seems like this is going to be like a 3-hour video based on my current level of summarization. And the whole thing of A Realm Reborn was like 3.5 hours. And this is just like an interim thing. But Realm Reborn covered a lot of just like running around, setup, ran a lot of dungeons and things like that. Whereas the patch quests are really just a lot of dialogue that I can't really cut out because it's all building up for future events. Why would I bother restricting to SCP anyway? You do plenty of it still. Well, it's like okay, so this week, inspired by my numbers on that Final Fantasy video, I was like, oh, you know what? I really screwed up when I did my Final Fantasy VI and my Chrono Trigger videos by breaking it into 2 parts. The YouTube algorithm, from what I can tell, hates multiple part videos. They hate multiple part videos. They don't recommend it, blah, blah, blah. So I went back, I combined it and I re-uploaded it as a single video, the story of Final Fantasy VI. And obviously I got a bunch of comments from people that think that I just finished that video and released it for the first time, which is great. I mean, I'm fine with that. But I saw a comment that was like, what? Why? More SCPs? And it's very clear that I have a good chunk of my audience that anytime I upload a video that is not SCP related, they are at most upset or at least disappointed. And so there is, if I just said fuck it, I'm only releasing SCP videos from now until the end of time, that would probably be a viable career path for me. Like, it would not be unstable. My Final Fantasy 14 video comes up second to the comic historian video that has half as many views as 2 years older. Okay. Well, yeah, all right. I mean, that's pretty. When I did it, I don't know. Maybe I put in a different term. Did you put in Roman numerals for 14, or did you put in the number 14? Maybe that makes a difference. Or maybe opening a private window doesn't actually completely wipe my history of... Oh, no, okay. Wow, that's great. Because the other day when I put in Roman numerals like that, mine was first. But now, yeah, you're right, comic historian. Half as many, a third as many views, Durden. Let's be clear here. And I mean, my God, that video is 14 minutes long. So really, we're not even competing. I mean, those videos are not in contention for views. A person is either wants a 14-minute quick summary or they want the deep dive. And he fucking puts, you know, Ishtola in the thumbnail just to attract any, oh, cute cat girl, yeah. It's like, why? She's just like one NPC among dozens. I think I have a better thumbnail, to be honest. And I don't usually think that too often. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah, SCP. So, I mean, I could just do that, and that would be it, and that would be my life story until SCP dies out, or I die out, or YouTube dies out. But I just like so many other things, and I just get spur of the moment, and I want to be, you know, the exploring series that just can cover whatever the fuck I feel like. And I think that's probably how most channels should be. And one of those things that I do like a lot is SCP. So, you know, it's always going to be kind of be around. But I think actually what prompted this was a comment I saw on my corn video where someone said, dude, you killed your channel by, I'm paraphrasing, but by, you know, bouncing between topics. You used to get so many more views. That's basically what the comment said. And it's like, I mean, yeah, I did used to get more views. You're right. But part of that was due to, like, being during COVID. That was when I was at my peak. And like I said, when I switched over to Warhammer, the most views that I got in like a 24-hour period on a new video was like 100,000. And it was on the Hanged King video. And then years went by of SCP videos, and I never surpassed that, even though I was like, holy shit, we're on the road to victory and wealth. That never got surpassed. So, yeah, my numbers were trending downwards regardless of moving away from SCP or not. So it was just kind of, you know, you see no YouTuber wants to see a comment saying that they've killed their channel. But again, I guess that's why I don't read many comments. It's in isolation. I'm not particularly proud of the corn video, I'll be honest with that. But I saw another comment that was like, again, paraphrasing, but basically like my Warhammer 40k videos are not good because I'm following the exact same path that every other 40k YouTuber does, of covering the Primarchs and then covering Chaos and then, you know, brief videos on all the different Xenos and then God forbid, you know, covering all the fucking Space Marines chapters. And it's like, yeah, that's that's 40k. He seemed to want like more deep dives on different alien factions. And I've seen this comment elsewhere. When I first started 40k stuff, of people like, oh, you know, I hope that you don't just cover, you know, mostly the Imperium. I hope you really go into other Xenos and things like that. And I think what people don't understand is that 40k, like all science fiction ever, is human-centric. Like, it is about humans. It is generally from a human perspective. And all events that occur are generally, you know, discussed in their relation to humans. That's what science fiction is. It's insanely rare to have science fiction entirely devoid of any connection to humanity, because you lose all relatability. Now, 40k, they have humanoid factions that I think sort of, I want to use the term anthropomorphize. They're sort of human-esque. They're not completely alien, outside of like Tyranids and stuff like that. Like Eldar, you can kind of see human-like traits in them. Even, you know, orcs, you can kind of see human-like traits in them. Tau, you can kind of see human, like they're humanoids. But yeah, the Imperium is the main faction of 40k, much as some people might not like to hear that. If I only did SCP, it might become so much of a job that it wouldn't be fun anymore, as seen in AVGN. Yeah, I mean, that could be. It's tricky. The thing is, SCP-1, I enjoy. You know, for now, at least, I guess. But the video I'm dropping tomorrow, No Vacancy, is really, really just enjoyable SCP stuff. I think a lot of people are going to like it, if they didn't watch the Volgan video already. 2, it does get views. You know, every SCP video I upload does get a decent amount of views, no doubt. And 3, it's generally easy. Like, as far as workload-wise is concerned, I would pretty much rather do 2 SCP videos for any one 40k video. Because, like, summarizing one article and the story in that article, beat by beat, is just a very easy task for me to do. Editing-wise, recording-wise, yeah, I mean, that's about as much work either way. But the actual writing-wise, 40k is just a lot more work, because I have to collate a lot of different sources, gather up all sorts of different information, and do what I used to do, you know, and actually, like, gather it all up and summarize it in my own voice and my own terms and words and stuff. So I don't know. But I've been back in 40k now for about 7 months. I said that I was going to give it a year, and then we're going to reevaluate how it's doing and where it's at. So we got another 5 months or so to see how it's progressing. It's not doing actually as bad as I thought in most respects. But it is kind of a bigger pond, and that's tricky. Because that's really kind of where I was before SCP. I kept bouncing between big ponds. I bounced from Lord of the Rings to Elder Scrolls to Star Wars, you know, things like that. And then when I tried to get into a smaller pond, I found that it was a small pond for a reason, like Norse mythology or Celtic mythology. And then I happened to just hit this golden pond, as it were, of SCP that was just small enough, but just popular enough that I could actually hit a niche that worked. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. SCP is tricky. For my subscriber numbers, I feel like my SCP videos should be pulling in more regular viewers. Based on that most of my subscribers are there because of SCP. So I don't know if SCP fans are just more fickle. They've moved on. They don't really care. You know, it was just a phase for many of them or something like that. I'm not sure. I mean, I can't complain too much. I'm doing okay. And it's still, you know, a great job. Like, I can just sit here and work on a video about Final fucking Fantasy, and I know that it'll do all right in viewership. And I will make money on a video about Final fucking Fantasy. Like, if you had told me that when I was 12, be insane. Be insane. You don't think of my channel as much as my actual source of income as you do something I do for enjoyment. It is very much my source of income. Yeah, it very much is. Without the Exploring series, I don't know where I'd be. And that's the thing though, because I always just say, I just make videos, I don't really think about it too much and blah, blah, blah. But I walk a fine line because it is my job. It's my career. And I do have a mortgage, you know, and I do have all the bills and all that. So it is, yeah, it's how I get money. And, you know, there is Patreon, but that's not enough as it is. And, there is now Spotify income as well, which is nice. Is a nice bonus, even though I think that is cannibalizing YouTube views a little bit, so it's not like just a pure plus, but it's fine either way. But yeah, it is my job. This is something I do for enjoyment. Yeah, I don't know. So the hope is that this Final Fantasy XIV video will be released in January. That's the hope. I still have a lot of writing left to do. Like I said, I've written 30-some minutes. It seems like it's going to come out to be like 3 hours at this rate. And then I have to actually edit the whole thing. And from what I recall, my distant memories, editing that Final Fantasy video, all those videos was a pain in the ass. Because there's just hundreds of cuts for each, like, line of dialogue and scene transition. And just, oh, God. So that's great. So editing that won't be fun. But, again, it's something I enjoy. As far as Final Fantasy XIV, and I know there's a lot of people clamoring for it, so I really want it to get done. going beyond the patch quest to actually doing the first expansion, that's a big undertaking. Like actually doing the entirety of Heaven's Word, I don't know. It's times like that where I wish that I was a different kind of channel. You know, one of those channels that just releases a video like every 6 months. And it's like, you know, don't bug me, don't talk to me. The video will come out when it comes out, and then you'll all be happy. And that's it. But I'm almost certain those channels don't make great deals of income. How could they, I guess? I mean, at least in comparison, right? Because it's like, okay, they work 6 months. They release this hour-long masterpiece. You know, that's just like, holy shit. Like, ahoy. And it gets, say, 4 million views. But, you know, I release hour-long videos fairly regularly. They don't get maybe 4 million, but maybe they get up to 1 million. And I release a video every week. You know, who's probably making more income? Do I avoid game trailers along with film? I avoid game trailers specifically if they don't include gameplay footage. I think a video game trailer that is entirely cinematic is one of the most useless things in existence. I hate it. I hate it. And I actually will specifically praise Nintendo because they almost never do that for like their stream announcement stuff. Practically every time they show a trailer, it's actually gameplay footage. If a trailer does have gameplay footage, if I'm looking into a game, I guess that's what I'll watch. Will I watch the GTA reveal? Yeah, I might. I mean, that's going to be a massive, huge game for like the entire industry. So yeah, I probably will check that out. But the only other times I watch actually gameplay trailers is like on a Steam page. Like, I'm interested in this game. What does the gameplay look like? And if you count that as a trailer, I guess. But or is that just gameplay footage? But yeah, most actual trailers for games that are designed to be in some way cinematic, in some way reminiscent of film trailers, yeah, it's just kind of a waste of time. But that's just kind of how I am as a gamer, as we all know. All I care about is the gameplay. Anyways. There's been a lot of chatting, but it is dinner time. So, yeah, more Fire Emblem, some Total War videos in there, and later this week we will start 40k Rogue Trader. As the Japanese would say, please look forward to it. Owlcat doesn't really miss. We're on the Exploring series. We got a video on SCP-7819. No vacancy. If you didn't watch Volgan's video on it, it's really good. It's a really good SCP, so I hope you watch mine. And even if you did watch Volgan's video, watch mine anyways. That's that. Alright, thanks, Durden, for chatting with me. I appreciate it. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. We'll see you fine folks next week.